One of the world's most controversial scientists shows off his creation, cloned human embryos that are genetic carbon copies of their father.
Oh, my babies are doing well. They look beautiful.
Many of the key players on planet Earth are cloned, and the originals are stored away in underground facilities of Antarctica. Whoever is visiting Antarctica will not come back.
I have a dream that we are going to sequence every living thing on Earth. We are going to sequence everybody in the world.
Cloning centers that they have all around. There's probably so many cloning centers I couldn't possibly fathom. But I did go to a cloning center, and I will tell you, family, they're cloning everyone.
Microscopic genetic material was taken from an adult cell. It was then inserted into an egg whose own DNA had been stripped out. This creates human embryonic stem cells, which are capable of becoming any of the more than 200 types of cells that make up a person.
REM phase cloning is they take your consciousness while you sleep and put it in a clone in the cloning center. As soon as you hit the REM phase of sleep, and you have to stay there until you wake up.
But they told me that I was, in fact, a clone, and that they had taken the DNA of another woman and inserted it into one of my mother's eggs, and that I was a physical clone.
I remember being at a futuristic-looking facility. It was like a military base. It was very clean. It was a facility, and you go inside of it. I think you go underground. After going in there, I was sitting down, and I was in this huge party.
She had her dead dog cloned. So she's got 2 new dogs that are both clones of her old dead dogs. It just made me think about humans. Like, in the future, if we can clone humans, like, what would you want to? Like,
scientists have managed to clone about 20 species, including cats, goats, and sheep. Now they've taken a step towards something a lot more controversial: cloning a human.
Scientists just cloned a human embryo. The team made an embryonic clone of a human from a person's skin cells and donated eggs. Cloned human embryo.
Many people have been cloned. They even say that Bernie Mac apparently saw all this and became very distressed over it, and apparently Hollywood stars are chipped. They got it down to science.
Meet Zhong Zhong and Hua Hua. Scientists at the Institute of Neuroscience in Shanghai created the first cloned monkeys using a technique called somatic cell nuclear transfer.
Implants 11 of the embryos in 4 women, one of them British, in the hope of producing the first cloned human being. The procedure is a criminal offence in the UK, but not in this undisclosed Middle Eastern country.
Whoever is in charge of the major nations will, shortly after being elected, being led away into our underground facilities of Antarctica and retired.
We've all heard of them cloning of these celebrities, which we know happens regularly. But I had no clue to the degree of the cloning process and how many people, regular people, they're cloning and replacing.
And the genomics, no doubt, is an opportunity for us all.
The same team behind this latest breakthrough managed to clone monkeys with this technique back in 2007, a significant step. Embryonic stem cell research has repeatedly raised ethical concerns.
You're just in a cloning center and they're using MK Ultra visual and audio effects to make you see what they want. They've been doing this to me probably my whole life, but now they see me talking to Donald Marshall and I go to the same cloning center he does now.
I rather naively told a few of my close friends about the fact that I was a clone, and one particular reaction was, "What, like Dolly the sheep?" which wasn't very nice at the time.
It was like everyone was having a party and everyone was running around, and it looked like something out of a futuristic type of movie, and the main color I saw was blue. It was a lot of blues. I was sitting down and I looked up and I saw this naked woman in a chair.
What the scientists have done is created a human embryonic clone. They start by taking a human egg, take out the nucleus, and then they take a skin cell from a patient, take the skin cell and put it into this denucleated egg.
The technique they used is called somatic cell nuclear transfer. It's the same way Dolly the sheep was made. Basically, the nucleus of a mature cell, in this case a fetal skin cell, is put into a human egg that's had its own nucleus taken out.
I mean, people always say, everything on the internet's a lie, you can't trust anything. Well, that isn't true. And I'm going to tell you why. Because everything that I saw on the internet 5 years ago, almost all of it has come to pass.
The cloning process began with a monkey egg and a monkey fetus cell. The genetically modified process in the laboratory then develops into an embryo, which was then implanted in a monkey. Eventually, the babies were born.
I think we have 3 very good embryos that could be in utero today, and that if implantation is successful as well, and the pregnancy is maintained, as we say in the US, we have a home run.
During a period of 48 hours, a perfect clone, which also is being implanted with some very high sophisticated technology, will be put in place.
During the process, when they'd be sleeping in their hotels, they would be put to, put under sedation and taken, and their blood samples would be taken, and then they would be cloned while they're still staying at this facility.
What it does is it literally opens the door to in vitro fertilization labs using these principles to make clones for people that might want to have a clone.
In my room, there's stairs going down, steps, and the steps kept going down into a vast underground labyrinth. It looked like something what Donald Marshall explains as the underground of a deep underground military base. There's computers.
To this day, I still get letters from people, calling me a freak, and mostly they're just people who are a bit nutty, but there are quite a few sort of fundamentalist religious groups who regard me as an abomination.
I know when I was younger I had experiences dealing with the dark forces and dealing with extraterrestrials. I know that happened to me when I was a kid, but I didn't know much about cloning. I was having these experiences with being visited by strange people.
And from the banking system to the chipping system to the transhumanism to the GMOs to the chemtrails to the nanotechnology, pretty much all of it has come to pass.
Dr. Zavos also reveals he's produced cloned embryos from 3 dead people, including Katie, who died in a car crash. He injected her DNA into a cow egg, though he hasn't implanted the animal-human hybrid.
Remotely controlled, the original will stay in the storage facility as it has been done for many hundreds of years.